Good morning, fellow Toastmasters and distinguished guests.
Good morning.
Let's do one more time. Good morning, fellow Toastmasters and distinguished guests.
Good morning.
Wow, that energy. My name is Atul and I will be the sergeant at arms for today's meeting. Before start of the meeting, I would like to mention 3 ground rules of our meeting. As a Toastmaster, we don't talk about sex, religion, and politics. So please refrain from talking about the same. Please do not do cross talks, and please switch off your mobile phone or put it on a silent mode. Please do it now. To succeed in life, we all have mission. Similarly, as a Toastmaster Club, we also have a mission, and the mission of our Toastmaster Club, I will request everyone to speak after me. The mission of our Toastmaster Club is to provide positive, supportive learning experience in which every member has the opportunity to develop communication and leadership skill, which in turn foster personal growth and communication skills. With this, I formally announce the start of our 459th meeting of MCTC. And today we also have our colleagues from MMTC Club. So I welcome all of you, and we should have a great meeting today. With this, I would like to invite our presiding officer, Team Deepanshu from MCTC, and Team Amit from MMTC.
Thank you Atul for the introduction. Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you doing?
Great.
Let's do it the less wrong way. I'm going to ask you how you're doing, and you're going to say better than good and better than most. So how are you doing?
Better than most.
That's the spirit. Last week, in our regular EC meeting, someone came up with an idea of a joint meeting. We all got very excited towards it. So we all started searching for clubs who are in Gurgaon and who also happen to meet on Sunday. But then we got busy in our everyday lives, in our everyday Toastmasters meeting. So the idea got dormant for some time. But then, this last Tuesday, Amit, who is the president of Home Mounted Toastmasters Club, called us saying that we are ready to have a joint meeting this Sunday, 31st July. As excited I was for this, yeah, please. As excited I was for this wonderful idea, it was very easily overshadowed by worry. How are we going to manage such a meeting in less than 4 days? So I dropped a message on our executive committee group and called Vivek sir and Ganesh sir. And the response I got was, let's do it. And the same response I got from the executive committee of Home Mounted Toastmasters. Ladies and gentlemen, for the last 4 days, both the club CC has been constantly working to fill all the roles, get all the role plays, making agenda, getting all the flyers in time, setting up the meeting room, and doing everything and anything to make this meeting possible. A lot of work goes into make such a meeting possible. And today we are having our first ever in-person joint meeting, and all thanks goes to the ECs of both clubs. So can we have a huge round of applause? Today, this room is not only hosting the members and guests of Believing City Toastmasters Club, it is also hosting our friends from Moon Mountain Toastmasters Club. So can we also have a huge round of applause for a joint meeting for the benefit of guests and members provides a great opportunity to connect with other fellow Toastmasters, see how they do their roles, to listen to other speakers, and also to observe the other club's culture. It provides a great opportunity, and that is why we are having a joint meeting today. With this, let's move on to our guest introduction. So for the guests, just please share a small introduction about yourself and what are your expectations for Mark.
So guests who are only,
From both the clubs, guests, not the members.
so not the members.
Yeah, yeah. So, would you like to go first? Your wish.
Hi everybody, I'm Sumedha. I am a communication professional. Communication but what happens is that whenever I'm in a meeting, working on a project that I worked on, I lack in speaking of it. I won't just justify the kind of work that I'm doing. So that's why I want to be a part of something which has communication as a goal. I want to meet and do this on a very informal basis. And that's like the whole personal
Thank you.
We don't have any guests today.
Okay, so all okay. No guest, right? Yeah. Also, one major announcement. Today is a new addition to our MCTC family. She comes from Gorakhpur, from Uttar Pradesh. She is a BCom and MBA in HR. Her hobbies are studying, listening, music, traveling, playing badminton, and so on and so on. She's a homemaker, also a UPSC aspirant. So, ladies and gentlemen, can we have a huge round of applause for Toastmasters? Yeah. Moving to our TMOD, our Toastmaster of the day is today is someone who identifies himself as a dreamer. He, by profession, he's a risk manager, and by passion, he's a storyteller. He has almost 18 years of experience and is currently serving as president at Barclays, and almost 27 years experience as a storyteller. He has a huge experience in theatre. He has done theatre in Delhi, Bangalore, and Kolkata. The interesting fact about him is that his three of his short films got featured at Cannes Film Festival. He is an experienced Toastmaster and has also served as an area director of Area F3. So, ladies and gentlemen, can we have a huge round of applause for
Thank you, everyone. So I think by the time we all know that what is the topic of today, and I think I've been told that I will first, because the meeting structure of MCC is a little different. So maybe just go ahead with the meeting structure right now. Is it not working? This one? It just not.
No, it should be a slide show. See that the activity
Till the time this thing is getting setting up, actually our president Amit was asking me that how old is this particular plan? I told him that just you can just read the source sheet is completely clear. We did the Asian Mission, but we are meeting today with Virat Kohli. So, yeah. Thank you. So for the MCTC people, I don't know. I know that I mean you must be aware of the structure, but for the MMTC and for the guests we have, so we typically in this meeting we have three structure. So TMOD's role is basically kind of an MC, one particular concept that person picks up, and
try to elaborate the concept and try to connect with the people over there. And the first part of the meeting, there are the prepared speeches. So Toastmasters actually have around 11 parts, and there are 14 speeches in each part. So every person has to follow a path and need to give a prepared speech. There is a particular structure of the speech, the evaluation criteria are there. And in the second part, there will be the table topic, the impromptu speech session for the table topic master to give an impromptu topic, and within 1 to 2 minutes, the speaker has to say something. The third and most important part is the evaluation part, where the prepared speeches will be evaluated by the respective evaluators, and also there is a group of evaluators, they will evaluate. So for that thing, I would, before that, I think just need to share today's word of the day. It's mentioned over here as well, that today's word of the day is vulnerable, and it's an adjective exposed to the possibility of being attacked or harmed. That's the meaning of it. One of the examples what we can think of, that tourists are more vulnerable to attack because they do not know which areas of the city to avoid. Now, synonyms would be endangered, unsafe, at risk, or unprotected. So, I would like to invite today's joke master. So, joke master of the day, Amit Tewatia. You can just share your.
Thank you, Toastmaster of the day, for inviting me. So, first of all, I would like to thank our club, Millennium Mountains Toastmasters Club. So, you can know from yeah. And MMTC Club for having this particular meeting. So, let's lighten up some the mood of this particular meeting. I was wondering that how we can go ahead and be from zero to hero. You have to be sometimes, you have to be think loud enough in your mind that you have to go from point 0 to point 10 or point A to point B to become 0 to hero. There was an incident that is late in 19th or 18th century, some times of Akbar and Birbal. So at that point of time, one day Akbar woke up and he thought, let me go ahead and kind of make joke on people. So he thought, and he came to Birbal and said, Birbal, do you know, I had a dream. He said, wow, sir, you had a dream. Okay, you can tell me. He said, I had a dream, and there I saw that I fallen in a pond of, honey and milk. And whereas you fallen in a pond of sewage or a dirty mud water. People said, well, yes, sir, you are correct. You are a king and you can dream of anything. Then people said, sir, I also had a dream. Okay, good. What was the dream that you were having? Sir, in my dream, I was licking you and you were licking me. It was his wisdom and his thoughts that a situation which was not in a favor of him, he became a hero at that point of time because he can't do anything himself again. So Akbar thought he's good at his knowledge, but I'm the king, so I should go ahead and have some domination on him. So he said that okay, let's go outside for a walk. Then they will walk. At that point of time, people do have a bad habit, that is of chewing the tobacco. So at that point of time, Akbar doesn't have that particular habit. So there was a donkey there, and a stack of tobacco leaves. So donkey was eating all the grass and everything, but not chewing the tobacco leaves. Then the Akbar, the almighty Akbar, said to Birbal that Birbal, take a look. Even donkey is not eating those tobacco leaves, and you are eating the tobacco. King, you are the king, you can go ahead and say anything. Then Akbar said, do you know why he is not eating those tobacco leaves? Then Birbal realized and he said, sir, he is donkey, that is why he is not eating those leaves. So in his mind, Akbar thought, yeah, it's not going to work. And at that point of time, they left, and again they come to home in their palace and everything. So Akbar thought that okay, well it's been a long day and he's still not humiliated. So he thought and again thought, but at that point of time he realized that through the wisdom, a person can become from zero to hero. It's not because he's a king or he's a minister or any common man, but it's wisdom through which he can go ahead and go from one particular place that is from zero to hero. So that's it.
I mean, we must have had all these people like Birbal, and all these people. And one common thing, I think, I don't know whether it was intentional or accidental, that you will notice that all these people are exceptional in their communication skill and in problem thinking. That's the same thing that we practice over in Toastmasters as well. And eventually, maybe these things help us increase our wisdom as well. So, let me just quickly move to our. Yeah. So, little bit of introduction of Amit. So, Amit is a Toastmaster since May 2021. As an educational background, he is an MC, currently working as a project manager in an IT company. He is now the VP Education and MMTC. His wisdom shows that. And passionate about cars and exploring new things. So, right now, I would like to invite our general evaluator today. So, all the people in MCTC, very familiar face, Toastmaster Bakul Joshi. For the others, there's a little bit of introduction. He's a TM since June 2016, PhD in April Entomology, PGDBM in Marketing and Strategy, 6 Sigma Master Black Belt, Diploma in Instructional Design and Certified Yoga Teacher, pursuing Diploma in Training and Development, National Head of Corporate Partnership and Capability Development at McKinsey India. Two-time president of MCTC, VP Education at MCTC, and passionate about reading, music, and public speaking. Please welcome.
Good morning, fellow Toastmasters and guests.
Good morning.
But Toastmasters also. Thank you so much for giving this opportunity. I am the general evaluator for today. I was about to reach perfection. And when I reached closer to perfection, I came to know that perfection is a moving target. So, always we try to achieve perfection, but there is always room for improvement. As a general evaluator, I am going to do that. I am going to have my hawk eyes in entire proceeding of the meeting today, and I will try to find out good parts of the meeting and the areas of improvement. Say, for example, why joke master was cracking great jokes, but he accidentally criminally, right? Similarly, if at all other role players are exceeding their time, our timer will find out. So it's not only me who would be evaluating the meeting. I have team of evaluators. We call it tag team. T stands for timer. So who is the timer who did not show the red card to the joke master? So please, timer, tell what is your role going to be. From there only you can say. Yeah, that's okay. Get down.
Very good morning. My name is Rohit and I am the time for this meeting today. As we know very well, time is very important for us. Time management is a life management. Time is not the only thing, it is the only thing. So time is very important for us. To manage this time, we have these useful cards for speaker. For the different roles, we have different time bounds for the prepared speakers. The time 5 to 7 minutes, and I use to the this green card at 5 minutes, and for the speaker and six this at yellow card 6 minutes, and seven with this red card for the speaker, and after this red card, after 30 seconds you have to close your speaker. And for the table topic, the timing is 2 to 3 minutes. There's 1 to 2 minutes to 2 minute, 1 minute green card at 1 minute, and 1.5 minute yellow card, and 2 minute red card. And for the evaluator, there's a 2 to 3 minute, 2 minute green card, and 2.5 minute. I choose the yellow card and 3 minute red card. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Another role player we have is Pankaj. Pankaj, right?
Yes.
Pankaj is our counter. So Pankaj will share exactly what his role is. Pankaj, over to you.
Thank you, General Manager, Toastmasters Atul. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning to all fellow Toastmasters and welcome guests. So today I will play as a role of our counter. Our counter combines two words. Our counter. Our means any kind of touch word, filler word. Counter. Count those words. So I am playing the role of as a counter. I will keep my ear to record all the words such as filler words, basically, and long and short pauses. I believe everyone will give stellar performance with using minimum use of filler words. And I will present my report at the end or when called by General Evaluator Toastmaster. Over to you, Toastmaster.
The third one is Grammarian. So Grammarian will share exactly what his role is.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
As a grammarian, I shall listen to everyone's word usage and note down any awkward misuse of language, and such as incomplete sentences, incorrect grammar, and I shall be presenting my report at the end of the meeting, called by the general evaluator. Also, as a grammarian, I need to introduce the word of the day and the idiom of the day. So we have already reduced to the word of the day, which is vulnerable. And as a change, I would like to introduce idiom of the day as well, which I think we weren't using in our class. So idiom of the day is cost an arm and a leg. I'll write it up. Cost an arm and a leg, meaning something very expensive. In a sentence, this new setup looks like it costs an arm and a leg. So I'll write it down so that and please try to use it as much as possible in today's. Thank you.
Great, thank you so much. So apart from these three evaluators, timer, counter, and grammarian, we have three speech evaluators. They will evaluate individual speeches. They are all requested to use CRC approach. So my dear friends, you all are vulnerable to our hawk eyes because everything we will watch and share with you. With this, over to TMOD.
Okay, so now coming to the theme of the day. It has a long history. The history started back to this kind of class. A little elder maybe. when the mathematics teacher comes and says that, can any of you tell us that what is the most significant contribution of India to the world? And that very day, it interests me. Why? Why zero is so important to the entire world? So what I started looking into, till date I started looking, searching and trying to understand that what all things are there. I will not try to make it a boring historical lecture, but the thing is that as zero has a very significant importance in the world science, I would like to share some of the facts that I kind of looked into. So zero has a particular shape. It was first found in the Bakshali manuscript. The language is actually a Sanskrit and influence of the local dialect. It's called Bakshali. And in 1881, in the village of Bakshali, currently near Peshawar, Pakistan, it was first found. So that's why it's known as Bakshali. It has been, after the carbon test, they say that in 885 to between 993, this particular script, actually, can you see the round circles over there? They use the first symbol of zero over there. And it considered to be the oldest extant manuscript in Indian mathematics. Now, prior to that, there was a concept that zero was found in the Loka Vibhaga, the Jain manuscript in AD 458. It was in the era of Shaka or Shaka. The language was Prakrit, which is also a sort of, I will say that one of the sons of Sanskrit, that Prakrit, then Matri and all other linguistic form has been formed. And then the concept of zero as a written digit in the decimal place value notation was developed in India presumably as early during the Gupta dynasty, that is near around 5th century. And then this person comes into the picture. Literally in the picture. The father, the concept of understanding the zero as a digit was first given by him, Aryabhatta. It considered to be there in between 476 to 550. And he mentioned that Sthatat Sthanat Dasagunat Sat. It means from place to place, each is 10 times its precedence. Exactly the way zero happens. The more zero we add after a digit, the 10 times it gets increased. And the first concept that has been given by Aryabhatta in that. Now, after that, the zero use went into the most important thing, the system that we are using, all the digitization, computation that we talk about, start with the binary system. The beginning happens with Acharya Pingala, the creator of binary system, who died in 100 AD. The history couldn't find that where exactly the period of birth of Acharya Pingala. So the Chandra Shastra presents the first known description of a binary numerical system in connection with the systematic enumeration of meters with fixed pattern of short and long syllables. Pingala's discussion of the combinatorics of meter corresponds to the binomial theory. Halayabudha, the 10th century commentary of Chandra Shastra, includes a presentation of this theorem in what now called as Pascal's theorem. So it's called Meru Prasta in the commentary, and currently is named after the French mathematician Blaise Pascal. Pingala's work also includes the material related to the Fibonacci numbers called Matroneru. A lot of contribution, right? Not only zero. And we already know about Aryabhatta, that concept of zero, but I think I'm not sure. I was also not aware after this. I mean, not many days before, that some correct approximate value of pi was also first kind of calculated by Aryabhatta that long before. So now get into looking the kind of shape of zero, how it emerged, and the zero word, how it emerged. The ancient Hindu symbol of a circle with a dot in the middle, known as void, shunya. In Sanskrit word also, it's come from Sanskrit, and it called the negotiation of the self. Please try to understand the concept, because that's why people said that science and philosophy are so kind of merged, and entangled with each other. The concept of shunya actually comes from the negotiation of self was probably the instrumental, the use of a circle in the representation of the concept zero. Now from here, eventually what we see in the pre-Islamic age, the time word sifr, the Arabic word, lucky at this album, I don't know how many of you have heard the beautiful album that it is, that called sifr. It also means empty, void. Sifr evolved to mean zero when it was used to translate shunya in Sanskrit from India. Then comes to the word zero that we are already talking about in English. It came via French zero, and then it came from the Italian zero, a contraction of the Venetian zero, which is the Italian zero via the same cipher. So that goes back to our Sanskrit shunya. This is the kind of mathematical or anthropological or historical journey of zero. We'll come into more and more into this. Before that, this is the part one of our meeting, and I would like to call our first evaluator today, Abhay Mishra. He will kind of share the first speaker and the speech objective. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning. So, shall I introduce? Alright. So for those,
I'm giving this actually the save the time so people can simultaneously see the room.
alright. So we can directly jump to the introduction part of the speaker. So Ankit, go ahead. Yeah, please. Okay. So somebody said, so somebody said to me one line at the very beginning when I was part of Toastmasters is that feedback is the breakfast of champions. So that means in our life, when we have to grow, it is really important to have feedbacks. And I will be doing pretty much the same thing. I'll be evaluating our speaker, Mr. Ankit Goyal. And to give his introduction, I have sheet. So Ankit have done a BE in Computer Science and Engineering from Ranchi. He is currently heading the engineering and enterprises business at Airtel, and he loves reading, traveling, listening to music, and spending time with family. He is currently pursuing the path of dynamic leadership, and today his speech objective is vulnerable like you.
Our speech title is Are You Vulnerable?
Okay, all right. Thank you.
I take my time and setting the time. 5 to 7 minutes. 5 to 7 minutes. When we start, done.
Okay, good morning, Toastmasters. Good morning. Good morning. It's not a coincidence that the word of the day here is vulnerable. I requested for that. So my title is Are You Vulnerable? Vulnerable means being exposed to the possibility of being attacked or harmed, either physically or emotionally. So I just want to ask you, in the first place, what is the first thought that comes into your mind when somebody says that you are getting into a vulnerable position? Would you want to be in such a position?
No. Yes.
Yes. Okay, I'm hearing some no, some yes. Let me give it a flavor as an example, right? So let's say you are working in your organization, you are working on a critical project. You as a part of your team are solving for a critical problem. And by the way, you are the SME, the subject matter expert on that project. Now what happens is everybody is looking up to you to solve that problem and meet that problem solution. And by the way, you get stuck as a team, and now you know that you need help. So being an SME, you need help. How okay would you be to tell your boss, though this is my area of expertise, but I still need help in this area? Yeah, but then do you think you will be having some stigma in your mind that should I or should I not?
There will be
There will be hesitation, right? So that is exactly what vulnerability is all about, right? So being vulnerable generally, I mean, I will see multiple because that's my topic. Sorry for that. So being vulnerable normally is seen as a threat, as a weakness, right? In our day-to-day world, we associate this with fear, with shame, with some uncertainty coming along our way. So with this baseline, let me give you an example, and then we will build further upon this topic. So I happen to be a part of a leadership development program, which I was undergoing that program around a couple of years back. And as you can imagine, there were a lot of 360 feedback sessions, a lot of simulations, etc., which I went through. And at the end, my areas of strength and my development areas were identified. And I was supposed to work on a development plan with my boss so that I can improve on my development areas, also like the weakness areas. I did that. One of the items in my development plan which came out was to groom my team, to show them the organization vision, and create a development plan for themselves in a similar way like I have created for my own self. Now guess what? My boss asked me to share my development plan because for me to execute my development plan, I had to involve my own team. My boss asked me to share my development plan with my own team, with my director at least. What should I do? I mean, obviously, it was like exposing myself to my team and saying I am not good in these areas, and kind of a vulnerable situation for me, right? I gathered some courage. I knew it was not natural for me. I actually acknowledged my vulnerability and I went ahead for that. I did share my plan with my directs. It was a courageous step, I must say. And I also must be very honest with you, I did share an average version, not the exact version. But it did help me out. What happened after that? I could actually enroll my team into my own development plan. They could understand the whole dynamics around that, why I'm doing that. They looked up to me as a very genuine and authentic person, due to which even my relationship with my team possibly got better because of trust getting built up. My team wholeheartedly helped me in my own development plan, which also meant that they worked on their development plan with full rigor. From a personal perspective, I was able to, show my courage. At least I was more open to the ideas. I was more open to learning from my team members. All in all, if you see the situation, it was a win-win situation both for me and my team members. I embraced my vulnerability, showed it to the world, and learned to live along with it. I won't say I overcome it because vulnerability is something which would take a long time to overcome, but at least you should learn to live along with it. Now, in this whole episode, if you see, there are, for me at least, there were two main takeaways as far as vulnerability is concerned. One is vulnerability needs truthfulness, and vulnerability needs courage. Now, both truthfulness and courage are not easy to get. They are not comfortable. I mean, not always you will find solace in being truthful always. But certainly they are not a sign of weakness. Right? And that's what I want to tell you guys, that vulnerability is not a weakness. I would say vulnerability is a mindset. You should take it as a growth opportunity for yourself. See, each one of us have our own vulnerabilities. You can think of yours. The big thing is to acknowledge it first, and then come out in a word, show that you have the vulnerability, and then learn along and try to live along with your vulnerability and eventually overcome it. I would leave you guys with just one thought in the end. Let yourself be seen, deeply seen, vulnerably seen. Thank you.
Somehow, I mean, thanks to connecting it with the concept of zero as well. We'll come to that, how the concept of zero is connected with vulnerability and how we try to overcome it. So, giving 1 minute of silence, write down your feedback, and maybe timer just let us know when 1 minute is over. So considering 1 minute is over, so I would request our next evaluator, TM Jitendra. No, TM Susangat is giving this speech.
It's not an icebreaker, it's a general speech. And
So
the subject is
take that time to think.
I don't know objective. It's a general speech because I was given in the last moment. So it's
So
not
we got to know that he has to give this speech around 10 o'clock because the person was supposed to do this background.
So, as I don't know about the objective, but the speaker is going to deliver, general speech on any topic, on the basic structure and the following on the aspects of the speech. Let's welcome Toastmaster Susangat.
Thank you. So timer, how much is the time?
5 to 7 is general speech. Yeah. So the speech title is 4 Pillars of Life. Toastmaster Susangat, 4 Pillars of Life. Thank you.
Good morning, a very warm welcome for all the members of MMTC and MCTC. I am a bit vulnerable today. At 9:30 in the morning, I get a message from my president seeking and informing me that Toastmaster Mudin is backing up and due to some exigency, and you have to fill up the role. Now, since it's a request from the president and it's the honor of MCTC, I filled it. And the things which came rushing into my mind is that in front of such an experienced Toastmaster, what I am going to speak. You can see my grey hairs, and I thought about speaking about life. The 56 years I have spent about life and the lessons I have learned from this life is what I'm going to speak to you in front of you. 4 pillars of life. Today, I'm going to ask each one of you. I see the gathering young as someone from age 18 to 20 to someone maybe at my age, about 56 or a little bit more. I want to ask you, what do you think is the most important thing which you have learned till now? Sir.
Equanimity.
Great. I need to look the dictionary for the meaning of that. Yes, sir. Wonderful. Yes, sir.
Respecting time.
Wonderful. Yes, sir. Yes. Wonderful.
Mental health.
Wonderful.
Family.
Great. Yes, sir.
You have to be moving, whatever the condition is now. You have to be slowly moving. Move forward.
Thank you very much. Today, the 4 pillars which I am going to speak about is more or less based on this. This is what we have just came up. The words which came. First one, physically fit. the most important thing in your life is to be physically fit. You may have all the luxuries in life. Each and everything is at your beck and call. But if you don't have a physically fit life, everything is useless. You may see sometimes health is not in your hand. Sometimes circumstances, sometimes your genetics, sometimes your father, mother brings in a lot of. But one thing which always is in your hand is the determination and the mental ability to get up in the morning or any time of the day, spend half an hour to 1 hour out of 24 hours in the greatest gift which you have got in your life is that your body. Spend 1 second, think about what is the magic you have within yourself. And what you need to do is to just to improve that and maintain that and be there. So one of the most important pillar is being fit, healthy. The second most important pillar is being mentally fit. Now, what exactly is by being mentally fit? As we had, my last speaker was, discussing about vulnerability. Vulnerable situation comes in every day, every moment. See, as I said this morning at 9:30, somebody called me up, the president called me up. I was vulnerable. What to do? So while you are crossing a road, a car comes in front of you. You have to brake, or if you don't brake, you can hit the car. You become vulnerable. So how do you manage that situation? You are in Delhi, I can go down. There is one more option. If you get out of the car, slap that guy. You know who I am? You know who my dad is? But will that situation help in getting out mentally and peacefully to you and the person who met that accident? You have to be mentally ready. Mentally ready to handle each and every situation. This comes by experiences, number one, by reading, by learning, by observing, and by attending people. The next most important is being spiritually. Now, what do we mean by spirituality? Does that mean that I need to be going to the temple, paying my obeisance to the Lord, and say, God, help me out in every damn situation? No. Spirituality means, to me, getting up every day in the morning and finding the purpose of my life. Why I am here in this world. Why I have been created. Is there a purpose? Or every day I get up from the bed, spend my 24 hours like this, passing my time, and go back to the bed same day without doing something productive, not for me, but for my fellow beings. And the fourth most important is, first one was, the second one was, and the third one was, and the fourth one was to being fit yourself. Means to be an example in front of you. Each one of us lead a very important life. We have a purpose, as I've said. So to be fit, to be present yourself in front of others is one of the most important things which you can do for others. Saying that, I end my speech and thank you for everything and thank you for your time.
Right after the speech on vulnerability, we got to know about the situation of vulnerability. And I don't know how that speech worked for all of you, but for me it seems like that creativity and excellence, elements of informative learning. Thanks for your great speech, Susangat. So we will move. We will just have now 1 minute of silence. What I have felt, I have shared. Now you felt what you have shared. Please put it down. Timer, please let us know. Okay, 1 minute is over. So now I would like to invite our third evaluator, Toastmaster Rashmi.
Good morning, everyone. So today, Toastmaster Ganesh will be presenting something on creating a speech for us with a story. So it would be something using a story within a speech or giving a speech that is a story. So as you know, stories are very important, and if we don't use stories in our speeches, they become vulnerable to get boring. So I would welcome Toastmaster Ganesh.
Once upon a time. What comes in your mind when you hear the term once upon a time? Stories, right? Stories are easy to understand. Stories are easy to remember. Stories are powerful, and we all love stories. How many of you agree with that? Raise your hand, please. Today I am going to tell you a story. A story about a king and about a monk. Once upon a time. Once upon a time there was a king. He was very powerful, very wealthy. He had a large army, powerful army. In his kingdom, people were prosperous, happy, healthy. He had best of the best ministers. Everything was perfect. But there was one problem. And the problem was the king himself. King who always used to remain unhappy and sad. His ministers tried their best because they were the best ministers. Unfortunately, they couldn't do anything. One day, they decided to announce it to the public that whosoever is happy, he will get a happy reward. Next day onwards, best of the best magician, best of the best poet, best of the best singer, cook, what and what not, started coming to the palace with their act. But nothing could make the king happy. The king was losing the hope. Ministers were losing the hope. After a few days, one of the youngest ministers in the ministry met with the prime minister and said, "Sir, I have heard about a monk, and it is said that he has got solution for every problem." The prime minister saw the ray of hope. He told, "Okay, why don't you go to the field and get some more information about him?" After the meet, the youngest minister came with three information. Number one, that whatever they had heard, it was true. This monk had solution for every problem. Second statement was, but there is a condition. The person who needs solution alone and find the monk. It's not that we can call the monk to the palace. And the third challenging situation was that the finding monk was not easy. They keep moving from one place to another, one forest to another, one country to another. So they decided that it's a worth-taking idea. Why not discuss this with monk? Why not discuss this with king and his family? Why don't we convince them? They got the courage, discussed this with king. They took the help of the queen. Finally, king agreed. After a week, king started his journey. King started, they got best of the best horse for him, and they gave 4 bags filled with gold to the king. Now, king started moving. Days went by, weeks went by, months went by. He visited from one place to another, one forest to another, one country to another. He couldn't find the monk was, there was no clue about him. Now the situation was, he had left the small money, and unfortunately, he was in an enemy state where he was vulnerable. So he was thinking to go back to home. But luckily, next day, he got a clue about the monk that someone has seen him in that forest. He rushed to that forest. When he reached there, he saw that monk was sitting under the tree, doing meditation. He just stand in front of him. Monk saw him, opened his eyes, and said, "Look, king, I know who you are and why you are here." King got excited. How come he know about me? Because they had kept this entire plan secret. He got impressed with the monk. The monk said, "Why don't you sit down? Keep your balance money left here. Close your eyes and chant Om 3 times." King followed the same. He sat down, closed his eyes, kept his all money there, and started chanting Om, Om, Om. When king opened his eyes, he was furious. He saw that monk had taken his money and he was running. King was thinking, "No, I was searching for this monk from so many months, and he is just a thief." He started running behind him and said, "I will kill him today." So now monk is running and king is following the monk. After going a few miles, monk stood behind a big tree and handed the money to the branch of the tree. King reached there, he saw the money, he was very happy, he grabbed it, touched to the heart, and started crying with happiness. To the next minute, monk appeared in front of him and said, "Look, look your happy face. Look how happy you are. You were searching for this happiness outside, but happiness comes from inside. Happiness not is in big palaces. Happiness not in having big army. Happiness is in smaller things. Happiness, you need to find happiness in while you are playing with a kid. You need to find happiness while you are reading your favorite book, or when you are having a cup of tea. You are talking to your best friend, or when you all are attending the Toastmasters meeting." King got the message. He touched the feet of the monk and started his journey towards the home. My dear fellow Toastmasters, the king got the mantra of happiness by getting his money back. Have you got your mantra of happiness? Over to you, Toastmasters.
You actually asked the most difficult question. Where you have found your happiness? With everybody is kind of looking for 1 minute of silence again. Writing on that. Okay. Now again coming back to our theme today. I will try to make it not as boring as the first session. For this thing, I would be needing some of the volunteers with whom I can be personal. I'm going to ask a very personal question to you. Did you have any moment in your life when you felt vulnerable, when you felt depressed, when you felt empty? If you have, please raise your hand and please volunteer in this session. I was doing this. Already got it. So let me do one thing. First hand I could see that is Abhay's hand. So Abhay, you know that one point of time, first time, when I felt empty. So typically people say that when you feel vulnerable, at that particular moment, momentarily void comes. If that moment continues, then it becomes depression. You try to come out with that void. But I actually took out my void. And now I will give it to you to hold it, stand, share at your moment of void what you do. Even if you don't come out of that, but at least what you do.
You know, I think there are different instances. I think all of us may be into that situation. So that one mantra that I have is by taking the path of meditation. I'm a big fan of doing meditation and all of those things. So whenever in a daytime or whenever in that particular moment I feel low in terms of the energy or feeling empty, I follow that path all the time. Doing meditation for 10-15 minutes will help you, give you all those energy that you get. And I totally forget about the moment that even if those things were there.
Can we have a round of applause for him? So one thing that I need before you pass on the ball, because I am looking for the solution. Please blow in the ball so that that thing get into the ball and I can carry it to when I will be going home. Okay. Just blow in the ball.
You want me to blow?
Just blow and give it to Bhav. So the same question to you. What was your moment of vulnerability or depression and how did you come out with that? And after that, give a blow for me.
When the situation also when I feel vulnerable.
If it is shared.
Yeah. So I feel vulnerable when I try to clear myself on something and my husband doesn't understand it, and he pushes me to do it. So that's when I feel vulnerable because we are only 3 members at home, and if he don't, he doesn't talk to me, I feel bad and I feel very sad too. So, and what I do is when I get in these kind of situations, I go out of house and I do shopping. That's the thing. That makes me feel good.
You may be vulnerable. That shopping is a very good antidepressant.
Yeah.
That's very
for girls, maybe that is.
For anybody.
Boys, I don't know. Yeah.
Thank you. That's one for me and pass it to TM Bakul.
Yeah.
Thank you.
It's the same question for you.
Yeah. So,
what's your moment of vulnerability? How did you come up from there, or at all, whether you have been able to? If it is, then how?
yeah. So my moment of vulnerability was when I failed in 12th standard in English, and everybody's expectation was on me, and I did not live up to those expectations. But then somebody guided me that failure is not the end; it is the beginning. And that gave me courage to really go further, take good tuitions and try to clear 12. So a guide, rather I would call him a god, right? The way Arjuna was guided. So he guided me to take step further. From then on, I learned that whenever you are feeling low, you should find a mentor who can help. And so many mentors helped me that way in many vulnerable situations. Yeah. Yeah. Thank you.
Amit, thanks to you. We'll come to this side.
So, my moment of valuables was in 2008 when there was a recession in India in IT industry, and I was just starting my career in IT company. So that time it was very tough for me. But one thing that I realized, when you start thinking about the least lowest part of your life, that what will be the happen the lowest one with you, and then you start accepting that reality in front of you, you suddenly got the solution and it came out from that particular solution. And I did the same thing, and then I realized that this is happening with everyone, not only me. I can definitely came out, and then I started my journey. And then, yeah, 16-year-old, I'm working in IT company in the same company.
Thank you. Thank you.
So I need to pass. Who is that? Okay.
I think our staff has raised their hand, right?
You have raised
You have raised hand?
No.
Then I can hand it.
All right. Thank you.
Anirban, I think if you said COVID
So vulnerable situation in my life when I failed in my CA intermediate. So I failed twice in CA intermediate, and before CA I got the opportunity to work in railways also. I'm a state level engineering fair. So I had the opportunity to work in railways, but I denied. I said I will pursue CA, and I failed in CA intermediate twice. So at that time, everybody, my friends, my parents, and everyone was saying that what you did, now you have lost the opportunity also, and you failed in CA intermediate. What you will do now? So in that situation, my courage and my confidence and my determination that I will continue to pursue my CA, and I cleared my CA intermediate and CA final in my first attempt. So CA intermediate I cleared and CA final in my first attempt. So I think during the tough situation, in your vulnerable situation, it is you, your confidence and your determination which will, help you succeed.
So when I say the vulnerability happened, like when I go for the project, right, in the corporate qualified, given me for project, and I can present to my seniors, and they are like, they are not up to my what I was dreaming for or what I was expecting from it. The project was more like that mark, and we are not talking very well of that. So that where I found that kind of good at. And second is that when I applied for the job, like I applied for the job, and I got to see them rejected continuously. So that will be like I work hard and I take it. So what next thing I do is that I go for the food. Like I go for the fine dinner at that day because I know that today is a bad day. So tomorrow I have to come up with the sharp mind. I have to go on my big area. So I take a fine dinner, think nothing, go with the chill plane. I search for the who is the chill kind of my group. I asked him, contact him, let's go for a dinner today. I will pay for you. You don't need to pay for it. Let's go. I have to spend a good time with you because I know that I have to go for the best sleep.
Thank you so much. I mean, it actually follows the same formula that equally like shopping and having good food. So next, our guest has actually requested for that. So big round of applause.
We may.
Don't take it as a moment of vulnerability. That's not.
The moment of vulnerability in my life was before the COVID hit. My health was vulnerable, so I had to move on from my job. My parents were it was a moment when I became from zero to. It was a moment when I became a zero from an already established ego in my family. When you're the eldest person, when you're the eldest daughter in the family, everything looks up to you. And, little brothers and cousins, everything looks up to you. When I got back from my job, it was the first month when I could not accept what had happened. I was home. I wanted to become a grandma. My focus was to quickly look for another job because I did not accept that my health was vulnerable. I tried a lot of things, but the feeling of getting better did not come to my mind. And And as Dr. was already there, I was studied a lot because I couldn't find any job which would help me. So for the sense of being better, for the sense of being better, I try to indulge myself into community service. I organize various blood drives. There was a land change in my family. We were moving to a different place. I taught children something they love the most. I also practiced my language, the other language. So by indulging myself in different activities, I got a sense of fulfillment. So I was getting better from zero. Finally, towards the start of this year, when I was looking for jobs again, I found one and I moved to Gurgaon. And here is the time when I'm moving from P1 and I'm finally moving to a different number than
Everything kind of summarized by these two people, what we have discussed right now. I'm not getting into this. I know there are a lot many shadings are also there. I'm going with this precious one. Even if you pay your arm and leg, I'm not going to get it. So next part of the meeting, we're going to have our impromptu speaking section, table topic, and I'm going to invite TTM Harjindar, members since May 22, BTech and MBA, working as a manager in Maruti Suzuki, public reading, learning. Welcome.
So good afternoon, hello Toastmasters and guests. So after this informative session by TMOD and interesting speeches, let's have a deep breath. Breathe in, breathe out. As you all know that in this section we are going to have impromptu speeches. So I will be calling volunteers, or maybe I will call someone by name also, just to push somebody. And so basically, you need to speak till 1 minute at least. You can at 1 minute, timer will show green card. At 1 and 30 seconds, timer will show yellow card, and timer will show red card at 2 minutes. So speaker will have further 30 seconds to conclude his speech. So all the best of all of you. And I also encourage to use Oreo approach. Oreo is basically opinion, reasoning, opinion by or opinion basically on the topic, given topic, reason why you think so on that topic, and we can make the speech more memorable by giving example. So again, you can reinforce your speech by sharing your opinion. So all the best. So I can call now. So anybody to volunteer for the first one. So your topic is you didn't come this far to only come this far. You didn't come this far to only come this far. All the best.
You didn't come this far to come this far. Good morning, fellow Toastmasters and distinguished guests. So in life, you didn't come this far, meaning that everybody is not equal. Okay, everybody in her hand also, all fingers are not equal. So every person has different capabilities and different competence. So we should focus on our strength rather than our weaknesses, and we should try to move forward in our life with our confidence. So if I try to, let's say, if I'm good at studies, I should try something in academics. I should not try cricket because I'm not good at that. So you should identify your competence and then accordingly should act. And as also, I mean, Bakul Bhai has said that we should have mentors in our life. So we should have mentors who can guide us that how should we move forward in our life and how should we use our competence to succeed in our life. So that's it. So thank you.
So basically, the goal, our goal is moving target. So whenever we reach one goal, it will move it to another goal. So I can invite now one more person. Yes, volunteer. So if you could rewrite history, how will you do so?
If I have to rewrite history, so history, the best person or the person I idolize in history is Hitler, Adolf Hitler. Although he has done a lot of bad things, but there is some logic that he was trying to apply, that if we make entire earth as one race people, then there will not be fight for things. Then everybody would be of the same race. So I would like to go back to the history and I would like to change the mind of Hitler. And instead of trying to make the entire earth as one race, he should have adopted some other means and tried to make it a single country, the entire earth becoming a single country. You could imagine that. I think a lot of people are having the dreams to move to US or Canada. So that will be fulfilled. You can be anywhere in the world. The progress would be the same for everybody. And everybody would prosper. There would not be any partition. There would not be any fight like the Ukraine and Russia wars that are happening. There would not be any people who are suffering for hunger or like waiting for days at petrol pumps in Sri Lanka. So that kind of things will get removed. And we will try to make everybody in the history, if we could change and make possible that everything is one country, we could move the entire world to next level for the prosperity, and there would be happiness all around, and we would not be vulnerable to any kind of issues. Thank you.
Wonderful opinion and how we can do history. So it is very nice opinion. Now moving on, can we have next speaker? Yes, yeah. So the topic is nothing comes for free. Nothing comes for free.
So thanks, Toastmaster Jindal. This statement is automatically true, right? Nothing comes free in the life. Whosoever is from marketing background, I think you are most aware of this particular statement. Whenever you go for the market and when you start giving up, I guess, a discount or buy one get one free, that seems we are giving a free to our customer, but that is not the true statement. That is something that company plans for you. Like you are going to purchase one thing and they are just adding the another stuff price with this one particular product, and we're just paying it. Even in the world, what we are doing here now, it seems for our guests that it's going to free. It's not a free. We are just trying to get you onboarded on this Toastmaster clubs, so that it is not going to be free for you and it's not going to be free for us as well. So this statement is definitely true for, I can say, for everyone. Everything is nothing is free in the world. Thank you.
Yes, please.
I was raising my hands for all.
So your topic is, and I will play is devil's workshop.
You wanted to change.
And item name is Devil's Show.
Who got this topic? Did you get this topic? What to speak in this topic? This is the beauty of the difficult topics, that you can speak anything about. So I want to say whatever my mind says, whatever my heart says. So my mind is most of the time empty. I didn't attend this Toastmasters meeting for last 3 Sundays, and I became empty. What am I not doing? Because this is the place which keeps me busy, gives me speech targets, give all those your pathways, find where you are a protege or your mentorship, sometimes your communication skills, or sometimes from your life experiences, what you have to give in your speech, your pathways, which is the nightmarish thing for me to do. But sometimes I do it. And it is the devil, right? Your mind is devil, your free mind is devil. I do it myself. So last 6 Sundays, what I'm doing is, instead of coming here, I'm torturing my kids, I'm torturing my wife, I'm torturing my parents, my mother. Cook me this, cook me something, paneer paratha, aloo paratha, sometimes you don't cook something like good, or you're bad, you're doing these things bad, you're not cleaning house, you're not, where are my clothes, where are my pressed clothes, or something like that. And keep tortured by, also, and keeping getting tortured because some of the things I have to do it myself. Ironing my clothes or washing dishes. These are my duties at home, which I'm not doing perfectly. Don't laugh at this, it's not a joke. I do it. Am I looking funny? No. Come on. Have another look. Give it one more shot. Am I looking funny? Yes. So this is, how I spoke. What did I spoke? Related to my topic. I don't think I did still don't get I don't know, but I can speak on. I can go on speaking. As confidence the Toastmasters has given me that I can speak on any topic, any time, any amount of time, and I can speak, give a different space, whatever you like. Thank you very much.
Totally vulnerable.
Yes. Timer has been planned. Yeah. We can take no play.
Yeah, you have to declare the topic.
So the topic is hope for the best and prepare for the worst. Hope for the best, prepare for the worst.
So, whenever we get into any situation, when we move out of our comfort zone, we hope for the best. Do we also put ourselves in other people's shoes? Do we also try to evaluate the situation, thinking if I would have been, if I would have been mentored by somebody, I would have thought a 360-degree about it, and I would have also prepared for the worst. Do we ever think like that? Say, I'm here attending my first meeting. I only hope for the best. I had no clue preparing for the worst. I did not know I would be put up here to talk. But that all of that comes to focus on the hope part more. And what's the worst that could actually happen? So with that positive mind, you will always be hoping for the best and not care so much about the worst, because bad things often happen. So just stay positive and focus on the hope part.
Yes,
What's the one?
Sumedha.
Okay.
So next topic is you can lead a horse to the water, but you cannot make him drink. You can lead a horse to the water, but you cannot make him drink.
Thank you. It's a great topic, by the way. And this is true in life as well. We all have got same amount of time, 24 hours, 86,400 seconds, but still, we act differently in terms of time. We all have almost similar opportunity for grabbing knowledge. And that was not true 10 years back. It is true today, and it is going to be 100% true after a few years. Your Google can tell you anything, whatever you want. You have knowledge base. But everybody in life will not reach where they aspire to be. The reason, we are too much focused on knowledge, but not on implementation and application of those knowledge. So, truly, you can take horse to the water, but the horse has to drink the water. Similarly, if we just go 20 years back or 15 years back in college, all of us, I mean the same college, and let's take example of best college, best engineering college, let's say IIT, right? All the people who have got almost in having similar mental aptitude and caliber. But if you see after 20 years, their successors are different. So it depends on attitude, it depends how you take life every day and what you do, how you respond to different situations, and that's how you make better life. So this phrase, I relate, even in any situation, how do you respond, that is important. Thank you.
I'm just interrupting, but ये जो टॉपिक है ना, ये अगर मेरे को मिलता है मैं थोड़ा इस तरीके से कहता कि जो मेरे साथ हुआ है ये रियलिटी में मेरी अरेंज मैरिज हुई है, तो उस टाइम पे मैं अरेंज मैरिज में एक टाइम पर मेरे को मेरे लेके जाते हैं ना. So you're not even in your topic right now, okay? We are running out of that. Just yeah, okay. तो उसमें उन्होंने कहा कि और मैं इसको ना यूपीएससी की तैयारी करना चाहता था. तो मैं शादी को तैयारी करना चाहता हूँ, शादी को मगर आप लेके जाओगे तो हो सकता है भाषण खाली आदमी है. हाँ, तो उन्होंने कहा कि भाई घोड़े को पानी तक ले जाया जा सकता है, लेकिन पानी तक ले जाया जा सकता है, लेकिन उन्होंने घोड़ा नहीं, वो गधा कहा था.
No. Still forward.
That's all on my side.
Okay, so we are not taking 1 minute of silence. Let's quickly move to my 2 minutes slot of summing up what I was discussing. Yeah. And I know she is kind of looking like me, like that. Another thing is that when we are constantly talking about time, there are few dimensions we always talk about, that height, length, breadth, everything. And what is about this time dimension? So, when we talk about zero comes any sort of measurement, any sort of calculation, the foundation of that. And from there, we start positive, we start negative. So in case of time, I mean, all other dimensions we can reduce, we can increase, or we can bring something. It's very easy. But to increase time, decrease time, when Akshay has given us this, even if you put your leg, hands, and everything, of course, maybe some intestinal can do that, but still scientists are finding everything. So we could not found foundation point, the base point of zero. We thought that okay, black hole may be in the beginning of time or something like that. But that's why we have started considering different calendars. And that's why we see AD and in between. Here, I will leave you with thought, the question. Many of us, many of our culture, many of our religion, we talk about our past life, our future life. What is this now? Are we in zero? So from here, I will call up the session 3 evaluation section. Thank you.
So the intensity and frequency of claps have reduced. So we will all clap once again together. For the Toastmasters and guests, in Toastmasters Club, evaluation is the heart of the entire session. Because here, the speakers and all the role players, they get feedback. Without much ado, because we are running a bit late in our session, we'll start with the speech evaluation. The first speech was given by Toastmaster Ankit. It is going to be evaluated by Toastmaster Abhay. All the speech evaluators are requested to use CRC approach. C stands for commendation, R stands for recommendation, and C stands for commendation again. Between two appreciation notes, you will give recommendation to the speaker. So with this, I must invite Toastmaster Abhay to evaluate the speech of Toastmaster Ankit. Welcome. No, again, people are not clapping. 2 to 3 minutes. In 2 minutes, you will show green. 2.5 minutes, you will show yellow card, and 3 minutes card, and you will keep showing red card until you finish it. Okay?
Thank you, Toastmaster
Bakul.
Yeah, sorry about that. So yes, today we have a great speech by Toastmaster Ankit, and I'm going to evaluate his speech. And as Mr. Toastmaster Bakul said, we will be following the CRC approach, which stands for commendations, recommendations, and then commendations. So talking about his speech, are you vulnerable? So first of all, that's a great topic that he chosen to talk about in this audience, in front of this audience. He started well. He started talking about the different kind of situations he has been when he felt vulnerable, and then he come with an idea that how he can get over it. Second is I saw his hand gestures in the entire speech. He was making good use of his hand gestures, and he was also asking questions in front of the audiences to keep them engaged. That is one of the key skill set that every speaker should have. Talking about the recommendations, so what I have noticed that Toastmasters Ankit was, while giving his speech, he was walking into the stage like this, okay, without taking a pause. So my suggestion is, when we stand on the stage and if we don't take pause, then probably audience would struggle a little bit to keep them engaged with the topic or keep listening about the things that we are saying. And second, what I noticed that instead of the stage walking from left to right, what I noticed that a professional speaker or a good speaker should always come from stage from backward to forward, okay, and keep their arms open. And sometimes I noticed that you kept your hands like this,
So that's not shows your confidence somehow. If you keep your arms open like this, probably that will be one of the key ingredients that will give audience with that confidence. And obviously, the voice modulation is the last thing that I had. Because in the entire speech, I had noticed that there was no or little less that I could not notice. There was a less voice modulation. All in all, he delivered a great speech, and by making this little improvements, he will become a more effective and great speaker. Congratulations and all the best.
Thank you so much. Excellent evaluation. Two things I'll share. One is you can focus on voice modulation because that is very, very important. And one very positive aspect in your speech was you gave your personal story because that can connect audience when you share your personal story. Now the second speaker, Susangat, lovely name. His speech is going to be evaluated by Toastmaster Jitendra. So Jitendra, welcome.
First of all, good afternoon, everybody, and especially good afternoon, Toastmaster Susangat. Life is vulnerable, isn't it? But it can be less vulnerable by following the advice of a wise and experienced person. He delivered a speech on 4 pillars of our life. What are the 4 pillars? First, physically fit. Second, mentally fit. Third, and the fourth, right, being fit to be present. First of all, I just wanted to thank you for taking up this challenge to prepare your speech in the morning itself in the honor of joint meeting. So, commendation on that. Second is, in your speech, you had an audience connect. You asked question like what is the most important part of your life, and instantly you make a humor, one of the strange word from our Toastmaster Bakul. So, commendations on that as well. Apart from that, you also had another humorous part while sharing, incident of Gurgaon traffic, a mentally fit example. So that was also commendable. Your eye contact across the audience was great. Your hand gestures and vocal variety is also great in your speech. But every great speech can also have a improvement area, which I think speaker can be if you work on working on organizing the speech, like adding more stories, the personal stories to the speech, it would become more connect to the audience. So I think that part was little bit you added two incidents or 2 examples, but it would be added 2 more for the last 2 pillars of life. It would be the better. And second recommendation, I would say, like your beginning was great, your middle part, the content part was really great, but the ending was from a little bit, abruptly ended. So if you have, concluded it a better way or summarizes with the message, it can have a bigger impact in your speech. All in all, it was a great speech. I learned a lot, and I'm sure the whole this club or both clubs learned great from this speech. It was impactful. You are confident. Eye contact and gesture was great. Just working on little more organization of the speech and the ending part to improve will be much more impactful. Thank you.
It's a great evaluation. Only one suggestion, and of course, you were asked to give a speech at 9:30 today, so you are given that discount. But a speech without objective. Because at Toastmasters Club, prepared speeches are always delivered with objective. So possibly that is the only thing. Otherwise, your personal story and use of stage was wonderful in your case. Third speech, Ganesh, storytelling. It's going to be evaluated by Toastmaster Rashmi. Rashmi. Yeah.
Today, Toastmaster Ganesh told us or preached us about a very important lesson in our lives about happiness. We keep on looking for happiness all around us, and it is in the small things that we are doing every day. This is something that what's in for me that I keep on looking in every speech. So that is one important lesson I'm carrying today with me. That I have to enjoy everything in my life. I have to look for happiness in every small thing that I'm doing. Once upon a time, the way we started this story, we all have read these kind of stories, or in fact, we have always started our story writing thing in school with once upon a time. So that created interest in all the audience. They were engaged from the beginning of the speech. Audience were involved. Hand gestures were used in a very important way. Speech clarity was there from the beginning to the end. We could understand the story. Voice modulation was extremely good. Eye contact was there throughout the speech. Presentation was really interesting, running, using the stage, doing a drama on the stage. It was like as if a story or a movie, small movie is going on the stage. Time management was extremely good, and there is good energy level that we could feel all through that speech. It was like beginning was good, body of the speech was very interesting, and then it was concluded also very well with the quote. So it was complete engagement, and there was a message that happiness comes from inside. That was the important message that we got. As every speech has some improvement areas, I had to open Toastmasters speech objective to see what I can suggest him. So maybe some kind of the story that was used, that was something I have read in my school or somewhere in library. So something innovative story or some personal story could have been brought here. So that could have changed the speech altogether. It would have gone from, you can say, from level X to level Y with that innovation on the story side. Or some change in the story could have been done, some twist. Or second improvement area is usage of some props could have been brought because it was a very drama kind of story. So some props, money, bag, the tree thing. So those things could be brought here. In summary, I would say that it is like if you have to give rating, clarity was it was 5, voice variety 5, eye contact 5, gestures were 5, audience awareness just because the story was something known to everybody. I'm giving 1 less mark here. So comfort level was extremely high. Everybody was interested in the speech, and pace was really good. The time management was extremely good. So I would say all the best to Toastmaster Ganesh for an excellent speech.
Wonderful. Excellent. I mean, we will discuss offline also what are the positives and areas of improvement. But voice modulation, usage of stage, eye contact, because in public speaking, movement of the stage is very, very important. Right? Think of this audience as 500 people. If you are delivering speech from one place, you may really miss a big major part of the audience. But your audience movement, like I mean, stage movement was excellent. That's one thing. And then you created imagery by enacting. In storytelling, that's more important. But let's discuss offline. Okay. With this, the prepared speeches evaluation is over. Now we will get into the tag report. But before the tag report, everybody has to clap once again. Okay. I invite the grammarian. What good you said of grammar and what are the areas of grammar improvement you made? Grammarian will present that report. Welcome. Grammarian Anirban, right?
Toastmasters.
Akshay, please.
Hello everyone. So I'm presenting the grammarian's report for today's meeting. So word of the day was simple yet beautiful word. So almost everyone used it in their speech. Idiom of the day was used by I think only Toastmasters, Toastmaster Anirban. So a learning for me and future grammarians to use such idiom of the day that is relatable to the meeting or the topic or the theme of it. Now coming to the good usages. So apart from many multiple good phrases and idioms and words used today, I have noted down some in my report. Toastmaster Ankit used gather courage. You can also say muster courage. Embrace vulnerability. Solace in being truthful. So anyone like to tell the meaning of solace? What is it?
Comfort.
Comfort. So comfort in being truthful. That was a good word. Toastmaster Ganesh used ray of hope. That's a good ED. Burgess used put yourself in other shoes or a 360-degree thinking. So these were the two good phrases in a speech. Toastmaster Jitendra used abruptly ending something. So that is a phrase I think which he used in his speech. And Toastmaster Rashmi used preach a lesson. That is also a good phrase and can be used in speech. Now coming to the learnings which we can use from this meeting in our speech. So I would like you to tell me what would be the correct term for this. So someone used the word refrain. Now I'm telling sentences. We must refrain eating unhealthy food. Refrain from. So refrain has to be a complete followed with the word from. This incident is in 1700 in Akbar's era. So tenses errors was also made by someone. So we should always use past tense when we are narrating some story in the past. This will happen in the past. Thanks for correcting. And during Akbar's reign, so that can be said. People has a bad habit. Again, had a bad habit. Yeah. So they came to home to their palace. This was the sentence used. It can be said they returned to their palace. To concise it. Now, many speakers have a habit of saying evaluate the speaker. So we evaluate speaker's speech or speech. Right? He was left with small money. So it can be said he was left with little money or less money. Now, the speaker said searching from so many months. Four or since when there is a specific time. Since 1971. Yes. Since last.
Can be from.
Four when many months. Yeah, for specific point of time it is since. So we say add examples from our life. We can say add anecdotes from. So what is anecdote? So these were some of the learnings, and hence I'll conclude my report over here. Thank you for listening. Now, how many crutch words? So we want to know, right? How many of them we use? So I'll invite the Abhay counter to present our report. Sir.
Good afternoon, all.
Good afternoon.
So first, I want to congratulate everyone, as everyone has shown stellar performance with minimum usage of filler words and clutch words. But yes, some of the clutch words in speeches and TTM sessions. So I count it and note it down. Toastmaster Anirban used one time. In the speeches session, Toastmaster Ankit used one time, repeated word one time. Coming to evaluation session, Toastmaster Abhay used one time. Toastmaster Jitendra used one time. Coming to TTM session, guest Sumedha used one time, one time. And Toastmaster Vivek used long or short pause one time. So this is my short report. Thank you and back.
Thank you, sir. After a very long time, a meeting with minimal crutch words as per the report. Right? That's the report. As per the report, I will say. Right. Now the timer. The timer is going to share the timer report today. He tried to do a great job. So please share your timer report. Yes.
Good morning once again. Here's the report. First speaker Ankit took 6 minutes 30 seconds, and Susangat 6 minutes 50 seconds. and Ganesh took 6 minutes 48 seconds. And in TTM, Atul took 1 minute 10 seconds. Rashmi took 1 minute 44 seconds. Amit Tewatia took 1 minute 6 minutes, and Ajay took 2 minutes 18 seconds. Sumedha took 1 minute 13 seconds, and Vivekananda took 2 minutes 13 seconds. And to evaluator, Abhay took 2 minutes 54 seconds. Jitendra took 2 minutes 42 seconds, and Rashmi took 2 minutes 58 seconds. Thank you.
Thank you so much for a very crisp, nice report. With this, my general evaluation report, okay? Let me ask audience, what are the great things we did today? Sorry?
Joint meeting.
One is joint meeting. Wonderful, right? So we had a cross learning. Exactly that's what I mentioned. What else? The theme of zero, right? Wonderful thing. So much we learned from your theme. Right? That is the second thing. Everybody liked the theme? Yeah. So many things we learned from today's session. So that's a great thing. This is audience score. What else?
All great.
All three great speeches, the storytelling, you know, and
Four pillars of life.
4 pillars of life we learned, right? What else?
The TTM topic given by
TTM, all the topics were there, right? And people, after reading the topic, they can speak on anything. That also we learned, right? So, okay. But there are many positives at home. My dear friends, I was witness to the preparation for the joint meeting. So the best positive thing which I observed was the preparation which was going on WhatsApp group. Role players, they were defined, and like notes were exchanged, information was exchanged, advanced preparation was great, and that is the reason we could make this possible. YouTube Live. Right, so everybody has given the speech. They can really download that. They can see themselves what errors they have committed. So this is a great thing which I said. I saw. Started on time. The meeting started very much on time. And time discipline at MCTC is sacrosanct and we try to maintain. The sergeant at arms by-hearted entire mission statement. He did not read it, by-hearted, and then we took the oath. That's a great thing. I have been observing for last 3 meetings. TMOD and engagement of the audience. Would you all agree?
Yeah.
Right? A very, very novel way of throwing the ball, asking exactly when you felt vacuum in the life, you felt depressed, and what you did. Wonderful. So we can relate. That was wonderful. Okay. Apart from the word, idiom was introduced, right? And that's a learning we have. We should really emphasize it. We only use the word of the day, but idiom was also introduced today. And that was, but there are certain areas where we can work on. One is one role player vector. And that is the reason 9:30 they have to find another speaker, move it vector. So any role player taking the role, it is a moral responsibility not to back up at the last moment because EC has a difficult time. Gadget glitch, right? The PPT was not moving. So gadget always, it's always good to come on time and check. Of course, all the role players were here well in advance, right? Would you all agree? Yeah. That's a great thing. Because if at all we want to start meeting on time, role players have to come to the meeting at least 15 minutes in advance. Would you all agree?
Yes.
I mean, yes, it's not very resounding here. Do you all agree?
Yes.
Great, okay. While idiom was introduced, but idiom was written while the session was on because that is distracting. So we should do that advanced preparation, but you are not at fault. It's all we have to learn. Okay. Some of the PPT had too much of content. So possibly the content can be organized. I am very, very finicky about PPTs. PPT has to be so well organized. It should be, but you're not at fault because at your club, I think PPT is not used. So that is quite understandable. Timer was learning on the job, right? So general evaluator had to really move his seat to teach the timer, but all discounts given, you did an excellent job. You learned it. You were very diligent. Right? One more is a speech without objective. For the first time it has happened, but no problem. Here, anybody comes for a prepared speech, he has to have an objective. He has to be on a pathway. He has to be telling us exactly at what level he is and what speech objectives are. Because then evaluation has an easy job to do. Okay? And movement during the session, right? While somebody was making evaluation of the speech, somebody stood from the audience and went out. Generally at MCTC or generally in Toastmasters, there is a general protocol that when the session is on, nobody is going to go in or going out. Okay, so these are some of the things. Overall, it was a very wonderful meeting. It was a great cross-learning experience, and that is the way we learn. Thank you so very much. Deepanshu.
Yeah, now
Amit is going to close it. So have a huge round of applause.
I think the best job in this meeting was done by Toastmaster Bakul Joshi, because the way he taught the timer, the way he controlled the complete environment and setup is commendable job. We learned a lot from this meeting. So kudos for you. The theme was like we are going to discuss the zeal. When I was sharing this theme to your MCTC club, someone has asked, give me some more detail about that. I was a little bit surprised at what details I can give when the theme is zero itself. And the moment when we started discussing this joint meeting on the Monday evening or Tuesday morning, we are at zero level because we were thinking to do this meeting next Sunday to Sunday week. I mean, apart from next 2 weeks. But suddenly the EC member decided both the club that let's do this meeting this Sunday. And then we become 0 to 0 in this 4 days. So kudos to all the team members who have done a great job, who have opted. I'm sorry to Susangat team, Toastmasters Susangat being vulnerable. At the morning itself, 9:30 am, when one of our team members got back out, and I called Susangat to just go for the speech because we have only one speech slot and we don't want to miss that opportunity. So kudos for your first Susangat as well. I think this is the first, second or third time I'm witness of this joint meeting. We had did a joint meeting with our other Toastmaster club that is from Australia and some China somewhere else when Anirban was set up that. But this experience is little bit different than others that we had so far. Kudos for all the, I can say, MCTC members who has given this warm welcome, who has given this opportunity where we have learned a lot from today's meeting, and that's the reason I was just thinking why your meeting number is 434 and why we are at 154. That is the big difference that we can see. So kudos for your first and answer.
We were also at 136 months.
Yes, so learning level. So if I just talk about the benefit of this joint meeting, the first thing I can say, the experience that we get, the first thing from your club, lot many things we are doing very differently, but today we have learned a lot. Even start from the surgeon arms, the way he has taken the oath, we never did that. The moment he started clapping for the team, that was really superb. I mean, that created a momentum for the complete team members and it charged up for the meeting. We start looking at the stage that okay, something is going on and we are going to witness this meeting. So that was really great. The way I think Rohit has taught all the time heroes today, that was really superb, and he bear all the things. So I can say, yeah, overall it's a very good session, and we love to do this joint meeting again in the future. We will be very much prepared next time, though this time we are a little bit lacking in the preparation, but next time we'd like to ensure that just it will be a different level of meeting from our end. So kudos for everyone. Thanks for before concluding, I'd like to ask our guest to come back again on the stage, being a volunteer again, and share a few lines like what is your experience about today's meeting. Say a few words about that. Please.
From there also you can.
I need to implement. So, I just I want to vote now for the meeting.
Yeah, I think if someone is not voted, please start voting from your WhatsApp group. We have received the link. Though I have already voted, there's a reason I have. Yes, we have the link there. Meanwhile, we can start with that. Everybody listen. Just start.
It
Yeah.
was a good experience. My main motive was to get out of my comfort zone and meet new people, talk to new people, listen to new things. Because when you're working in a job, the weekdays go into whatever the work is. It's either house or the work, and it was a good utilization of my hours on the weekend, and I feel that I can come back.
We have many other guests. We have one more guest, Jitendra. Jitendra, you can say your experience as well.
Actually, last week I was like a guest for me only, and this was like last time was good, and this time is better.
So if you just need to say one best thing that you have seen in this meeting, and what is the worst thing that you have seen in the meeting, what is your suggestion?
Worst thing to that, and nothing. Best thing is that the two things. One is the Susangat speech that was just like an improv speaking, and the table topic was only sorry, this is name. Ajay. Yes, their speech there was it's just like it shows how confident. If you have confidence, you can do.
You can speak on any topic. I mean, that's the way that you can form.
And you can also become a star of the meeting.
Yes, yes. Thanks for coming. We hope that you both are going to join MCTC or MMTC. We all, EC members, are looking forward to get onboarded you. Let's see who has on this battle. Now I think if boards results are ready, we can go for announcement and then we can wrap up the meeting. Before that, we have our area director as well, Toastmaster Abhay. So I'd like to ask to come back on the stage and please say a few words about it. Please, Abhay.
Thank you so much, Mr. Samir. So I'm the also immediate past president as admin of this Toastmasters. And to be honest, we haven't got a chance to interact or have a joint meeting with another club. So this is great that situations are improving, and right now we are moving towards having more physical meeting. So that's really nice. And I think Amit, as president, you took that responsibility and you are doing a great job. So I wish you all the best, and I wish all the best to Millennium City Toastmasters Club as well. I hope you will. You all are doing okay, and I don't know like who exactly the area director is, but maybe if anybody knows, they can confirm who is the area director of this club. You know, sure. You know. Okay. I might not have met him, but anyways, it was really nice experience. Thanks to all for your hospitality. Okay.
Thank you. Thanks, Abhay.
Both our results are finalized, and I have the results now. So who is going to, from your end, who is going to? Thanks. Okay, so we are going to start with the role player. So, any guesses, guys? Who's going to win the ball?
Grammarian.
Role player.
This is the role player.
Sir, public wants you.
Tough time for you.
You are supposed to TM Toastmasters.
Okay, order.
Yeah, it's very, yeah, that's very good.
Yes, Mike.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Great. We learned a lot from you, sir.
Thank you.
Now, best auxiliary role player. Okay, yeah. Any guesses, guys?
All the three guys did a great job.
Yes, let's go to Grammarian. Yeah. This is for you. This table topic is speaker.
Ajay.
You rock the floor, sir.
That's the compliment. This is the first time. What was my topic again? Empty brains,
Then best evaluator award. Any guesses, guys? Rashmi. Yes. See on the board.
Rashmi.
Now the final one. Best speaker. Any guesses, guys? Everyone is guessing the same result. Why so? I mean, do you have any kind of results? Ganesh. Okay, you can just put it in this way. Thank you so much. So yeah, that's all from our end, and let's some snacks as well. Somebody starts stating their time is going off. So yeah, definitely we should have a group picture as well, selfie and then group picture as well.
Right.
Please everyone. Thanks. We can clap for ourselves as well. So anyone need to announce for this next, or everyone can start it?